Hi, I'm Diane at Healing Bodies, Healing Souls. I am an intuitive life coach, energy healer for over 35 years, and I appreciate you showing up. And my goal is to give you just beautiful information for your ability to be able to expand your own consciousness and live even fuller than you ever have. And with me today is one of my dearest friends, Simon. Tell the world about you.
Thank you, Diane. So my name's Simon. I'm from Everything is Spirit. I coach people to find a sort of higher quality of life. And that quality obviously is an individual thing for everybody. So people have different ideas of what that might mean. So I just help people, I guess, become the sort of higher version of themselves. And it's a pleasure to be here with my dear friend Diane.
I adore you. So
Thank you.
today is about nothing is accidental, that anything and everything happens to us. There is a reason. There is a need and a desire to have that moment to evolve the positive and the negatives, because life really is about positive and negative. It's about pleasure and pain, and we need both.
Mhm.
So anything that happens, I want to have more awareness of what's going on. I'm in the center of that. And I want that lesson, even if it's going to sting a little bit. What do you think?
I quite like the way that you sort of said about, effectively the sort of good and the bad. So we have a universal law of polarity, which means that, like, for there to be hot water, we have to have cold.
Yeah.
For there to be an up, there must be a down. So a lot of people kind of, say, their sort of goal, and it shouldn't be a goal. It's as you know, with your high awareness on these matters, it's not being happy isn't a goal, it's a state. But a lot of people kind of go, I just want to be happy all the time. And in reality, if you were happy all the time, you wouldn't even know it.
Yep.
So we need the sort of, the law of polarity, the opposite of happy. Without it, we wouldn't know that we were happy.
Mhm.
So I absolutely agree with you. We need the positive and the negative.
We need a rough day at times,
Yeah.
and we want to be able to move through that rough day and look for the happiness afterwards, to be able to get out of those moments, be able to shake it off and get back to feeling good and groovy,
Getting
and
back to
not
good.
consistently stay that way for an hour, day, week, or month. And then that becomes the habit. And then they didn't get the lesson. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to make today's chat about universal laws, but it reminds me very much from what you've just said of the law of rhythm, right? So the law of rhythm is the tide goes in, the tide goes out, the sun rises, the sun sets. So there's this conscious change that we're going through in life. And I think one of the ways that you can use that law in a positive way is that if you're aware, and awareness, is the key really. We've got to become aware of things. If we're aware that of the law of rhythm, i.e. good times and bad times, when we're going through a challenging time,
Mhm.
we can think, well, we know that this will pass and that good times are going to come again. And as soon as you're aware of that and you know that things are going to get better, that puts you in a better vibration, which means that you're automatically starting to attract better things towards you. And as you move towards them, they move towards you. So you're absolutely right. It's almost like that sort of gentle wave, isn't it,
Mhm.
of life,
We
you
need
know.
the lessons. We need the experiences, good or bad, harsh or unharsh. I don't talk about this often, but I feel compelled to. Years ago, the IRS made a big mistake. And with that, they took every penny that I had.
Okay.
And it was devastating as a single mom
Hmm.
and a business owner. it took me down to my knees. But I went to my office and my daughter was there. And I told her, and I said, I don't know how I'm going to win, but I'm going to win. I
That
don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it in less than 5 months. And yes, I will get all my money back. And in 5 months, the IRS wrote me a check for every penny. Now, during the 5 months, did I stumble a little bit? Absolutely. But I didn't tell a lot of people. I just told a few little people to keep my energy really close and in. And boy, that felt like victory when that check came through. And am I
I
going to send the IRS some flowers and say thank you for the most beautiful lesson I had had to that date? No. But am I pretty damn proud of myself? Absolutely.
And you should be, because
Thank you.
that must have been a serious roller coaster. You know, we talk about, I mentioned the law of rhythm. You were really experiencing highs and lows, no
Yeah.
doubt, through that
Yeah.
process. So at the end of it, though, you're feeling and certainly kind of implying that you learned quite a lot, right?
I learned to put my head down and do it. I
Hmm.
learned to believe in myself. And some days it was down because I didn't tell my clients or anybody. So they saw this. So I still had to rise up to this
So that
each and
was
every day.
challenging,
It
right? Must.
was. And when I would start to go down, my daughters would see it. And
Hmm.
they're like, nope. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And I would come back up. And so do I want to fight in life? Absolutely not. But when something like that happens, most people fall down and they don't get up. Most people just surrender. Most people don't know how to show up strong and bold.
Hmm.
And again, most people don't win the IRS.
I can imagine that's very, very true. Um, so, sorry, how long ago did this happen?
Woo, maybe 12 years ago.
Okay. So you must have been to have had that attitude, because a lot of people might have just sort of folded and kind of
They
gone,
would have.
given up, right? So you must have had quite a sort of high level of awareness at that point, and a very good attitude. You must have had persistence and sort of belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when I had my first mentor, my first goal was to earn a certain amount of money. And within 1 month, okay, and I finally reached this goal. It took a few months and I got there and I earned the figure that I wanted to earn. And I said to my coach at the time, I said, like, do you know what? At first, I really couldn't believe that I could possibly earn the amount that I did. And I said, but do you know what? That's lovely and I really like it. I said, and I'm very happy and I'm always grateful to her. But I said, the most important thing I've learned is that I've gained this like inner knowing that I will
Mhm.
always be okay. So I think I could truly say that if I experienced the same thing as you did, I could say hand on heart that I would have the same approach as you had, that I believe that everything would work out.
Yeah.
And I think that that is, as we sort of grow and become higher versions of ourselves, it's that sort of inner knowing that you will be okay is one of the greatest things that we learn.
I think it's something that we develop,
Hmm.
and not a lot of people develop that. And so, was it a horrendous lesson for me? Absolutely. But the key thing is that in a lot of people's lives, if you just keep getting trapped here and here and here, you've got to push through that veil to get on the other side. It's a lot of people. There, I know one gentleman. He has the worst attitude. He doesn't treat his employees well. He's just a jerk, and he keeps asking and wondering why his business isn't flourishing. Why can't he get ahead? And I'm like, well, it's your attitude, it's the way you treat people, it's the way you show up in life. You're not necessarily going to get a lot of big trophies, And
Yeah,
until you
so
learn that, you will struggle.
yeah, so it's kind of we were sort of talking about, why do sort of certain people or why do the same struggles kind of keep appearing? I remember, I can't think quite who it was, but somebody in the sort of self-development world said once, they said like, if I have a problem, right, and I would correct them, that's what they said,
Yeah.
change problem to challenge, right?
Yeah.
There's a different energy attached to that.
Beautiful.
So if I have a challenge, which I can say now, I am stealing what this guy said, but if you have a challenge, imagine having the attitude to go, the bigger the challenge, the better, right?
Just gets juicy at that point.
Yeah. You go like, I want big challenges. So what you experienced was a big challenge.
Yeah.
And when you experience a big challenge, the opportunity to learn and to grow is much bigger, obviously, than if you had a small challenge.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the sort of attitude that I seek is to go, oh, it's only a little challenge. I want a big challenge because I'm gonna grow. I'll be forced to grow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The
And it
little
sounds like you have
challenges
that.
just waste time and energy.
Yeah.
But
The
it's
big
kind of like
ones.
an adult person staying in kindergarten.
Yeah. So you had that opportunity for a lot of growth during that
It
experience.
builds character. I'll tell you that for damn sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether I'm sure there were moments that you didn't absolutely love,
Yeah.
but at the end of it, and you look back at it, you must kind of go, well, wow, I've got through that. I can do anything pretty much.
That trophy was 10 feet tall energetically. It
Mhm.
wasn't just a little trophy, it was a 10-foot tall trophy
Yeah,
energetically.
and well deserved.
And it's a
So,
strong mindset.
mhm.
And that's what my book is about, is writing one story and staying with that one story and not flip-flopping around. And that's when you learn your lesson. That's when you grow through it. That's when you break through the veil. Same with people that are serial daters, can't find the right one. It's like you're not necessarily dating the same maybe type of man, but if you're showing up the same way and it's not working with 5, 10, 15, 20 men, you're the common denominator.
Yeah,
And so then I point it back to them. What are you doing? What are you asking for that cannot be accomplished?
interesting. So here's a view that I have on it. I think that we operate on frequencies, right?
Yeah.
So it takes maybe something like their experience that you went through to learn to sort of jump up to a sort of higher frequency, right? So after that, you're operating on a higher frequency. I think that's the same with like people that we meet. What do you feel about, and it could be in terms of like dating, but it could also be in work, or it could just literally be, sort of friends. I think we live on a sort of frequency.
Mhm.
What do you think about why do we meet? And I don't mean in terms of lesson wise, but
Right.
why do we meet the people we meet? And what I
Sometimes it can
mean,
actually be past lives saying hi to each other. It's
okay.
definitely lessons.
Hmm.
It's definitely soul connections. You and I have not physically met, but I just think you're one of my closest, grooviest friends.
Oh, that's very nice. I'm honored to be spoken of in that way from you. And yeah, you're a dear friend of mine, and we know
Yeah,
that we'll always be great friends, right?
absolutely. Because it's a vibration, it's an energy that gives a good feeling to both of us. It's flow. It's just like I feel normal-ish when you and I are talking about the energy world, the spirit world.
That's interesting. So maybe that's what I should have said earlier, really, or asked is when we meet people that we, like become friends with, right?
Mhm.
So not even just dating, just friends, or it could be dating as well. Same thing is that I think that we're on the same frequency, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think about that? So that no, I kind of feel that, like, let's say for instance, I got a room full of people together and
Uh-huh.
I asked you to come and say it was like a drinks party. There are going to be certain people there that you're going to connect with.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that is going to be people that are on the same frequency as you.
Yeah.
It's not going to be based on so much of, what they look like or even what they say. It's above that. It's on a spiritual sort of frequency.
Hmm.
What are your sort of views on what I've just said there?
Their energy to my energy is welcoming,
Hmm.
even before they said a word. It's a
Hmm.
matched vibration,
Yeah.
even before we've spoken. It's a welcoming, it's a comfort. It's a I already know the vibration of this person because I am in that vibration.
Hmm.
And that's a negative person to another negative person. A shopaholic will fall in love with another shopaholic in a half a second. It's
Yeah.
matching vibes.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's matching vibes. So that vibration creates a frequency. So you're on that frequency, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, so you could even take it as far as I kind of said to one of my clients once. I said, like, when you think about energy, if you were to say sit on, and it could be a train or a bus, right? If somebody came and sat next to you, so you've not even seen them, and perhaps you're looking out the window, so you've not seen them, straight away you are either going to feel comfortable or uncomfortable.
Hmm.
They've not said anything, you've not even seen them, you just felt somebody sit on the seat, beside you.
Yeah.
I think that is like really interesting because we've all experienced that. But what most people do is go, "Oh, I felt a bit uncomfortable when that
Uh-huh.
person sat there," or they go, "Oh, I felt fine." But they don't actually think afterwards, well, spend any time thinking, well, how come I felt okay? I hadn't even seen the person, they hadn't said anything, and then on the other side of that coin, going back to the law of polarity, there might be another time where they feel, I didn't feel very comfortable, but I felt uncomfortable before I saw them and before they said anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that is enforces the idea that we do live and exist on frequencies.
Absolutely. Because that has a lot of meat to it.
Hmm.
So if I'm out and somebody comes up to me and their energy may be dirty or dark energy, then I'm going to get an energy hit.
Hmm.
And because we all want to live. So my body and my nervous system is going to get a hit and I'm going to get into an alarm mode. Then I'm going to look around and I'm going to be like, okay, I'm safe right now, or I need to move.
Hmm.
So that's really what it is. Our aura, the energy that's within us radiates out. I like my aura to radiate about 3 feet.
Okay.
Okay. If I'm in a uncomfortable area like our DMV, then I want it to be even a foot around me. If I'm just at home with my daughters, it can be 8, 10, 12, 15 feet wide.
Yeah.
But if my energy is too wide and somebody walks through next to me, they're walking through my aura and everybody leaves a thumbprint. That's why when I go to a hospital, I want my aura to be 12 inches around me.
Hmm.
I can walk through a cancer ward and not get affected and not have anybody walking in my energy space. And I'm not collecting energy in that moment because that's not the space that I would want to collect information and energy and take it home with me and to the people that I love and live with.
Hmm. That's really interesting. I'm just going to point out that you and I, we don't plan or, we don't talk about what we're going to say.
Exactly.
It's kind of, it's a conversation that naturally unfolds. We haven't sort of practiced what we're going to say. So it can go in any direction. And from what you've just said, I was thinking two things. One, when you go through the hospital,
Mhm.
you don't want to take on like the ill energy. Would you say because I kind of think that we could protect ourselves from, like, if you like, the physical illnesses, right?
Mhm.
But we could also send out good energy to those people in the hospital that is going to potentially help them. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to see what you thought about. The other thing was we're talking about like keeping that energy sort of close to you,
Mhm.
less close to you. Perhaps,
Mhm.
when you, like you said, when you're at home with friends or family. What about when you make a phone call and you
Ah,
speak to somebody?
yeah.
Right. What we've just said about sort of being on the same frequency,
Mhm.
would you agree, or what are your sort of views on? I believe that even just speaking to somebody, there can be some people, so we may have never met them, we have no idea what they look like, and it doesn't matter whether they're male or female, that's totally irrelevant. It is, but you'll just instantly connect.
Yep. Yep. So two things. Everybody has the ability to heal themselves and to heal others. So if I walked through a hospital, I can 100% send out healing energy 100 feet around me. You need to be present in your body.
Mhm.
You need to be protected energetically and spiritually. And it is a point of being of focusing what you're doing.
Mhm.
So to have consciousness, it needs to come from a higher source energy. Because if somebody isn't really paying attention and doing the work and learning about energy or themselves, most people are coming with an empty cup.
Mhm.
And so then there's sponges in those hospitals. The runaway healers, the ones that want to heal everybody, they're it's a dry cup and they're a sponge trying to get energy, and that is completely the wrong way. So to fill your own energy cup up and then to be able to expand it out is incredibly beautiful. You can't do that from empty. And a lot of people, if they're not working on their aura, their energy, their chakras, and allowing themselves to be important to themselves, then I would say don't do that. Bring in, keep as much energy as you have, and let's
Mhm.
figure out how to build that up. And the same thing with a phone call. It's an energy cord.
Mhm.
So it's from me to that person. And thank you for this moment. I don't think that I have really focused on protecting myself well enough before those that connection, because
Mhm.
we don't have to have the body next to us to be able to understand it and read it. I've been able to channel and read since I was 15.
Mhm.
So I can read people through you. And some of my clients, it's like, oh, you just met somebody. He's tall, slim, not a lot of muscle, medium to brown hair. She's like, how do you know? I said, oh yeah, no, I can see him. And yeah, your energy, the two of you, it's not going to work. So even when we're not with somebody, if we're not careful, we're over connected. And
Mhm.
that is a way of depleting your energy and bleeding out. It's like your bucket. If it has too many connections, it's too many holes in your bucket.
Yeah.
And if you're
Mhm.
not connected to a positive, then they're going to be able to leach out even more energy. What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Yeah, no, so I was kind of thinking, as I say, our conversations unfold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. And I think it keeps going back to being on this frequency. And the phone call, and this is how our conversations unfold,
Uh-huh.
I was sort of thinking, yeah, we're talking about phone calls, and I sort of think, we all know that experience of when, like, we think about a particular person, right? It could be, a work person or a friend, and then maybe you've not seen them for a long time or spoken to them for a long time, and then they call you, right?
Yep.
And that to me is connecting on a frequency again. So I think the frequencies are so important, and that comes from the vibration, right?
Mhm.
So vibration is conscious awareness of feeling. And we get onto that frequency, and we talked about that idea of sort of things repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we may have touched on it last time, was that idea that it's really tough for people to understand, and no one likes to hear it, but it's a truth of, you get people that go through, say, really bad relationships, then they end the relationship and they end up with pretty much the similar relationship again and again. So it repeats itself. And I've sort of had clients go like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. And I'm like, well, you're on the frequency, right? Because after a while, people start to think, well, this is kind of what I deserve, right? So they kind of end up, although they really don't, but on a sort of subconscious energy level, they start to kind of go, well, this is, kind of, this is what happens to me, right?
Yeah.
And when they learn the lesson, then they can move up to a higher frequency and they're going to attract better people. Yeah.
And it's doing the work.
Hmm.
It's paying attention to yourself.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
focusing on what you are, your vibration is, what your energy is, what your belief system in yourself is, because your belief system has a vibration attached to it.
Hmm.
Um, People that have a hard time in their careers, a lot of people, the mind wants to blame others.
Hmm.
That's exactly what it wants to do. And I think I said last time, a man got up in the middle of the night to take a piss and he missed the toilet. And he instantly thought to himself, my wife moved the toilet because he didn't want to take response. And then he's like, wait a minute, how many areas of my life have I not been taking responsibility?
Yeah. Interesting you say that with my coaching. Uh, Most of the time, there's a course, and one of the lessons that we study is responsibility,
Yeah,
right? You hear people often say that discipline leads to freedom. I think you got to take the responsibility first. Responsibility is life-changing, really life-changing.
mhm,
Yeah. So kind of like what you said about this guy, once he started to take responsibility, his life's gonna really change.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because anything and everything that has ever happened to me, I'm the center of that story.
Uh, Absolutely.
And if
You're
it's positive, I want to pat my shoulder. If it's not, I want to learn the lesson so I can get through the lesson because that lesson is going to keep knocking at my door until I pass. And then when I get to pass the lesson, because I woke up, I'm conscious, I'm paying attention that I've created these steps again and again and again and again and again. And now I'm going to start taking the responsibility and shift up. And how to shift up is to not blame others, to look at my core value of myself, to raise my own vibration, my own happiness, and get rid of the lower vibration Diane that isn't working out in this year at this age. Because if I keep repeating old patterns, I haven't adjusted myself to this body in this day at this age. And when I'm present time, I am brilliant.
priceless, right?
Thank you.
Said recently, priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess for like, for a lot of people, what happens is that they're just sort of like, and I was myself, I was the same in the past. You're living life on this sort of treadmill. So you never stop and think about these things. Yeah. Like you said, awareness is key. Until you become aware of it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they experience these things. Like I said, that idea earlier of you think about somebody and you haven't seen them for ages and the phone goes and it's them. Or somebody sits next to you and you feel okay or you don't feel so good. And they're like, how can I feel whether I was comfortable with that person? I'd not even
Mhm.
seen them. They haven't spoken to them. So all these things happen to us, or we get all these symbols and all these signs, but most people are so stuck on that treadmill, they never stop and think about it.
Bingo.
So the classic one that I always say to pretty much all my clients is that idea of people, like say you're in a queue or you're at a bar or somewhere and you feel somebody behind you looking at you, right? And you turn around, the person looks away, or you turn around and the person goes, "Oh, hi, Diane, I thought it was you," right? Nearly everybody has experienced that, right?
Yeah.
But then you go, well, how could you feel someone looking at you from behind, right?
Mm-hmm.
They usually you usually feel it sort of between the shoulder blades. People experience these things. That's like a sign, right? A symbol, an experience. But it kind of goes through their mind and out within a matter of seconds, and they don't
Yes.
think about it. So you've got to become aware. I think you've got to stop and think a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like what you said, you go through these experiences, you've got to learn to raise to a higher frequency. It's so obvious, really, when you say it, right?
Yeah.
But you've
Yeah.
got to stop for a moment and just think a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my meditation class last night, I I I guided them to witness themselves in
Mhm.
meditation.
Okay.
Witness yourself breathing.
Hmm.
Witness yourself relaxing. And we got the mind and the body and the energy um, connected together. And so if people would just witness themselves, their experiences will be more noticed. They'll have more awareness of what's going on with them in the world. And then they can adjust. As I'm driving, I'm witnessing myself driving down the road. And if I need to turn left, I'll turn left. If I need to turn right. But if I'm driving and not witnessing, then I'm not in control of moving forward. So I want people to kind of witness, and maybe today's word is to witness yourself and not keep witnessing the men or women that you're dating or the employees that you have or the coworkers,
Hmm.
but start to witness yourself. And when you start to spend more time here inside yourself and notice what's going on, maybe you'll start to get the clues to vibrate up, to
Hmm.
raise your own standards. In a lot of the coaching of dating, it's just like they date the same theme all over again.
Hmm.
And it's just like witness yourself. If you're not having a good experience with this person, pay attention to one or two positives of lessons. It's just like, yeah, he's boring. She doesn't have the ability to pay attention well. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to witness that. And I'm like, okay, now I know I want somebody that is more evolved, more paying attention, more excited about life. So it was a good moment to educate yourself what you're looking for. It's almost like testing dinner before you serve it. Does it need more salt? Does it need more of this or that? And it really is, you are the one that you need to take care of and please well before others.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's made me sort of think about that idea of the when I said about the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
Is you can imagine like, you know, you coach people with about dating, don't you? Yeah.
Mhm.
So so I don't tend to deal with sort of the dating side of it so much, but instantly I can kind of see that what a lot of people probably do is they go to a date, it doesn't work out, and afterwards they're like, well, that didn't work out, right? They were boring or they were whatever, and they go on to the next one, and same thing happens. They don't ever stop and go, what could I learn here? Right?
Yes.
And that's, I think that's it. It's just becoming aware. So
Yes.
that treadmill, you also mentioned driving the car, right? You're
Yeah.
driving down the road. Good example. When we drive somewhere, once we've learned to drive well, we're not kind of thinking, well, how do I change gear anymore? Are we? or, how do I slow down? How do I speed up? We just
Mhm.
automatically do it. So the subconscious does it, which means we're not really consciously aware we're doing it. So it sounds the same with, with the idea of sort of dating, that you have to kind of like stop and go, okay, so what happened here? What can I learn? Right? How
Mhm.
can I grow? Yeah. Evolution is proof that we're meant to grow. Right?
Exactly. Life is going to push you to evolve,
Mhm.
and you're either going to kind of pass or fail. And there's people that have been in a career for 10, 15, 20 years, they don't like it. And then they wonder why their vibration is down.
Mhm.
People are not liking the zip code that they live in, but they're not paying attention to how to get out of it. They just accept it. Energy vibration goes down.
Yeah,
The belief in the
interesting.
world kind of goes away.
Yeah. Interesting what you said about people that are in jobs that they don't like. So with my clients, I would say, if somebody's asking for like, what they don't like their job, what should they do? I say the best advice ever is do something that you love doing,
Yeah.
because then you're going to be in a great vibration, right? Your frequency is going to go up and up if you love what you're doing.
Mhm.
Like I'm pretty sure you love your coaching, right?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love
And you
it.
see it
Yeah.
shows, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It shows. There's an energy attached to that. And that means that you do it on a frequency that somebody that didn't love it is never going to be able to get the results you get with your clients.
Yeah. When you, and this is going to be completely off topic, but there's four levels of the brain.
Mhm.
And when you can get into theta, you are open, you are teachable, you are creative. And so
Mhm.
when you love something, you can actually be in that theta and you can actually groove out in life. I'm also an ex-wedding photographer and portrait photographer, and I love that too. And I'd look
Mhm.
at a bride and groom going, okay, now what? And I would look up and over, go into full theta, see three or four different poses, come right back and start again. But it's a relaxed body. It's fun. It's playful.
Mhm.
And the universe will give you a boring job and career if you keep showing up.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I kind of always think that spirit wants to express itself through you
Mhm.
and with you. I've said that to you before. So with you, right, it definitely wants to do the coaching that you do.
Yeah,
Okay. So what it means is that you're in alignment with yourself, but also with spirit, right?
beautiful.
So that's why you're a brilliant coach. Now, what you could do, because spirit's always available, is kind of go, well, no, for whatever reason, I'm going to go and do something else, right? Or perhaps before you became the coach, you might have had, I know you had the wedding photography, which you
Mhm.
like, but for a lot of people, they might have, say, had a job they didn't like and think, which I'd really like to do the coaching, but I don't think it's going to work. Or I'd like to do it, but it's going to be too hard. Or I'd like to do it, but I'll do it when I've got more money behind me or what
Mhm.
have you. So the people that really do well in life are the people that are doing what they're meant to be doing.
Yeah, yeah,
And they will always love what they're meant to be doing.
yeah. They'll accelerate in those stories,
Mm.
but the ones that just not not push themselves, not get from kindergarten to first grade, from first to second, second to third, and keep moving because life is school. And if they settle, they have settled. And then I know what their life is going to be like from 1 to 10, 10 being high. They'll be lucky if they can hit fours.
Absolutely agree with you. But I think it's also worth just, saying that obviously everybody has, those people have their ability to change at any
They
time.
do.
They do. At any time, change happens in moments. So they've always got that opportunity to
Mhm.
change. But I think to get onto that really the highest frequency for them, it's got to be doing something that they love, right?
They got to pull that trigger.
Mm.
They got to make a bold decision.
Yeah.
I got to go
And
for
if
the
you,
gold.
absolutely. But if you love doing something, you know, what a wonderful way to spend your life, right? And if you love doing it, you're going to be, I believe, naturally good at it.
Yeah.
And if you're not really good at it at first, if you love doing it, you're going to be eager to keep getting better and better at it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about showing up, and then the vibration that you show up at can be on a lower scale or it can be on a higher scale. It really is that simple.
Mm.
A lot of people have conditioned themselves because we're talking about adults.
Yeah.
And it could be because of childhood. It really doesn't matter right now. But if you conditioned yourself to be in low vibration, you just can't complain because you continue to set in that. Coming
Mm.
to somebody like you or I, they're going to get them to open up and expand out, believe in themselves so that they can raise their own vibration. It's a completely different world. And
Oh,
it's the
yeah,
same world
no.
that we live in. It's like, welcome to our
Yes.
universe.
Yeah. No, no, a absolutely. And I was sort of thinking, like you say, when these people that are, and I was one of those people in the past that was existing on a sort of much lower frequency,
Mhm.
is that again, that treadmill thing is they kind of just gonna go, well, this is me,
Yep.
and they don't stop and sort of think, well, actually, I could change this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think, I look at myself from when I was, years ago, really, really struggling, living on a
Yeah.
low vibration or low frequency, blaming everybody and everything and not taking responsibility,
Yep.
to where I am now, right? Which I would never have believed that I could be living the life I live now. And I think what changed?
Yeah.
Just my thinking. That's it.
Yeah. You changed you, your
Mm.
vibration, your frequency grew with you because you gave it more stories. You gave it more life. You got excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's, I think, when we work as sort of coaches, we never change people. We just kind of give people ideas and kind of maybe give them a little bit of a map or a suggested
Mhm.
path to go down. But, the only people that can change, are themselves. Yeah, we never change people. We just sort of give them ideas and thoughts and paths to travel down.
Mhm.
And I remember when I kind of made a big difference in my life, saying to my mentor at the time, God, you changed my life and what have you. She was like, no, Simon, you did, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We just held space,
yeah, absolutely.
helped them believe in themselves.
Yeah, I think also open the mind to opportunities, and
Yeah.
possibilities, which, when you're on a sort of low frequency, you're just not open to those things. And that's where, I really believe that everyone should have a coach, mentor, everybody.
Exactly. Somebody in
Um,
their corner
yeah,
so that they can speak openly and freely too, so they don't have to hold it all in, which is lowering the vibration and making
yeah.
life in itself kind of scary. So years ago, probably about 15, 16 years ago, a client came in to me and she's like, and I said, "Oh, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, we're fine." And I'm like, "Who's we?" And she's like, "You're right. I've lost myself. I'm doing okay." But it was always her and her family or her husband.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
once she realized that she forgot about her, the I, and we worked for a while, and my coaching is strong. We'll just leave it at that. And so I
Effective. Effective, right? Effective
exactly,
coaching.
exactly. And so I ran into her maybe a year later, and she had lost 100 pounds and divorced
Hmm.
and was happy. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, you look so fantastic." And she's like, "Oh, thank you. It's because of you." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, thanks." And she's like, "No, Diane, it was because of you." And I get emotional. She said, "I just turned 50, and it was the first time in my entire life that I looked at myself in the mirror and I liked who I saw,
Wow,
and it was
that's
you.
very special. Yeah,
So
very
yeah, so
special.
we just kind of crack open their shells that they're in, the tightness that they're in, and hold space for them, because in this world, not a lot of people know how to hold space for somebody. And she lived on the treadmill.
Interesting. Yeah, I think most people do live on the treadmill. I think it's really important that we do step back a little bit, step off the treadmill and kind of
Yes.
look at our lives. Even, when we seem to be doing better and better, the only way we can really do that is to step off and become aware.
Yeah.
But the story you just told me, what a amazing feeling that was
Yeah.
to have helped someone, make such a big difference in
Yeah.
their life. Yeah.
Yeah. She actually liked the person that she saw for the
Yeah.
first time ever in her adult world at the age of 50.
That's
And so,
like an amazing end result, but it's kind of equally sad to think that so many people, live life like that. And
exactly.
quite a lot of people I coach, I sort of say to them sometimes, like, you should, in terms of like self-image, that, you've got to love yourself a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
And, maybe treat yourself occasionally. And do you know what? So many people, when you say about treating themselves, they go, well, I've never really thought, I've always got stuff for the children.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's always been about the kids, never about them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of go, well, you've got to love yourself and treat yourself. How many people treat themselves as well as they treat their best friend?
Hmm.
Not
Exactly.
that many, not that many.
Yeah.
And once you start to really sort of love yourself, not in a sort of, big-headed way, but just genuinely appreciate yourself, then you end up having so much more to give.
And then you just go up the ladder of success.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then your vibration shows up. And then you just have so much more of you to offer you in
Yeah,
this world.
absolutely. It gets better and better, and then you can help more and more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People at times can tell me I'm intimidating. And
Hmm.
I'll accept that. It doesn't bother me. It's their perception. But if me living and walking and talking in my fullness and being a full 360 Diane is intimidating, they are on the treadmill. And I'm just
Yeah.
my brightness is disrupting, and they want to be more. And most people don't know how to be more. They've been taught to be on the treadmill. And I'm saying you're not learning any lessons. You're keeping yourself safe. You're keeping yourself trapped. And I take them off the treadmill
Mhm.
and let them and help them, inspire them, get them to start lighting themselves up. And they automatically start elevating, because life is better up here. Life is basic here. It's better up here. It's even greater up here. And it can be quite excellent up high. Choose
Yeah, no.
choose where you want to be, and get yourself there. And is it going to take work? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously, you're right, that word work, it does take work, but that's what we're meant to do. We're meant to grow. We're here to grow, right?
Yeah.
And it does get better and better.
And better.
Going back to the law of rhythm, when it gets better and better, we're still going to have some days that aren't great, right? And some days that we really perhaps wish hadn't happened, but overall, it just gets better and better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if anybody learned anything today, is seek the positive, look for more. You're worth it.
Mhm.
And when you start to seek the positive, look for more, look for better, you're going to get yourself so much more.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's been a very interesting chat, as we always have
I
interesting
know.
chats together.
Yeah.
And I think you know, we have this like human experience on this blue ball that we call Earth. We only have it, as far as we know, once.
Uh-huh.
Without going further on, like I
Uh-huh.
believe we go on to, you know, another stage.
Yep.
But whilst we're here, we might as well enjoy it as much as possible, right?
Give yourself freedom. Give yourself grace.
Hmm.
Give yourself the ability to upgrade yourself.
Yeah.
If anybody that has kids that are going from third grade to fourth grade, we tell them it's going to be easy. And so just tell yourself each step that you go to that the next step is going to be easy. And just remember that you have value. Remember that you're important. Just alone, that's going to raise your vibration so that you can start winning these things called life and winning these moments. The universe, the God, whatever belief system you have, they're giving you tests that they know you can pass. So just figure it out.
Yeah. I
Figure
mean,
it out.
I often say to my clients that, you know, I never sort of try and tell them what they should believe, but either you believe in God, right?
Mhm.
And you can call God universal spirit, source, energy, whatever name you like to give it. So either you were created by that,
Yeah.
or you were created by the power behind nature, right? Either one of them, whichever one you believe, it's created you as a unique individual, right? You know, our DNA proves that we're unique. So imagine that if you actually sit with that and think about it, there is nobody else on the planet quite like you or quite like
Yeah.
me. We're unique, which means that we are very special, right?
Yeah.
And if you start seeing yourself as very special in a humble way, right,
Yeah.
life's going to improve.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really will.
Yeah.
And in terms of like business, I often think that the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person, this can be in business and obviously it will apply to life as well, generally, is the concept you have of yourself.
Hmm.
So if you see yourself as a happy, successful person, you're going to be a happy, successful
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
A person that's unhappy is never going to be very successful. Not really.
They won't allow themselves. The energy won't allow it. The energy that they choose to run is not going to allow them to be happy if they're not choosing happiness.
Absolutely. And that is really just how they see themselves, is the concept of themselves. So, you know, you could earn a lot of money, but if you're not happy, you know, is that success?
Not at all.
No,
Not at
absolutely
all.
not. Absolutely not. It's been an absolute
Thank
pleasure
you.
speaking to you as always, and I look
Yeah,
forward to chatting to you again soon.
absolutely. I adore you. Thank you.
And you.